really started out about a month early. They knew she had a condition called placenta previa, which basically the placenta is below the baby instead of on top of the baby. And they knew that from the very beginning. They knew they didn't want her doing any type of bleeding of any type. And about 8 months along, she started spotting one day.
So we were on our way to school, got about halfway there, and we were going over an overpass, and there was black ice on the road. I was projected from the back seat through the front windshield and flew 40 feet down the road. And the last thing I remember was seeing the pavement come up toward my window, and I remember saying we're going to roll, but that was the last thing I remember.
I had never been scared before when I went in to have a baby. When I went in this time, I just told him, I said, something's just not right. I just don't feel right.
The doctor started in there, and when he got down to that part, he realized that those blood vessels, instead of just being attached to the uterus like they're supposed to be, they were actually embedded into everything. They grew into her insides, and so he immediately stopped. He called for another surgeon, waited on him to show up, ordered up a bunch of extra blood. Of course, they had to cut through everything to get the baby out, and basically there was no way to shut the blood flow off. Everything was just a running faucet. They had about 5 or 6 different nurses standing around her holding pressure on her insides. And ended up, I think, being 56 total units of total, blood product.
They didn't think I would make it to be airlifted, and they called the family in to say goodbye, but they gave me 4 or 5 pints of blood and got me stabilized enough that they could airlift me. They took my spleen out, and then they put me in ICU. I had broken facial bones, I had a crushed heel, I had a broken wrist, I had a pretty bad brain injury. At that point they didn't know it, but I had a broken neck. I was so swollen from the impact that it had actually held my neck in place while all this was happening. And I have some friends that say that it was not necessarily the swelling, but maybe angels or God's way of holding my neck in place. And I can't argue with that at all.
It's one thing I do appreciate about the doctors there, the Christian people. And I told him, I said, I'm behind y'all. The way my faith's in God, I believe He can do this, and I believe He can pull it through. And I remember he looked at me just as square in the eye, as he could, and said, there's a chance that he may not. I said, yes, sir, I understand that. I said, but I've really got a peaceful feeling about it, and I believe everything's going to be okay. After that, I reached a point where I was able to just say, God, here it is, and I said, she's in your hands, and whatever you decide to do is best. And they went ahead and did the last surgery, and he told me before they went back, he said, we know we've got to do the surgery, or we know we're going to lose her. He said, we're just hoping and praying God's going to show us something when we get in there. And I think there were 6 surgeons in there that last surgery, and they found out their ovaries were bleeding. So they removed the ovaries for the last surgery and fixed it. We just did a lot of praying about it. And that's one thing I appreciate. The doctors were praying, nurses were praying. There were total strangers in the hospital praying for us. People we didn't even know, and plus all friends and family. And that's kind of what pulled us through it, I think.
Here I am today. I'm living proof. There were people that prayed for me all over the world, not just in the United States. I have several scrapbooks at home of the emails that we would get back, and the good wishes and the well wishes and all that people sent me, and all the prayers that went up. I truly feel like is one of the things that saved me.
And it really, I seen my faith tested, and I felt like it improved my life. Just because I felt like I did the right thing. I give it to God, and here it is. Do with it what you want, and we'll take whatever you give us.
It could have been worse. I could have not made it. And God left me here for a reason. So.
Who would have ever known this could be this easy? Oh, I was a long, long way off. And just like that,